All right. I am so excited and happy to be sitting with Alan right here. He's the legend. And, Alan, you've created so much success in your life. What are some of the habits that you have what are your daily habits?
Well, let me just first introduce myself, Alan Nagao from Honolulu, Hawaii. I had a very strong pleasure to want success in my life, and actually was born with a handicap, and maybe, I don't know if you see this, but I was born with without a leg, and so it's all the way up
Wow.
to here. And because of this, I really was born maybe with a little rougher beginning than maybe some people might really understand. And this handicap led me to being teased every day. And maybe when people were picking teams, I was always the last one to be picked because I couldn't run. And because I had this artificial leg that was all the way up to my hip, it was very difficult to walk. And because of that, I wore a crash helmet, a leather helmet. It was not a pretty helmet. And I had to wear that every day in school. I was very different than the rest of the kids. And because of this, I really wanted to be like everybody else, but didn't have that opportunity. And because of that, really, I was really trying to do more to prove myself and to improve myself. And so that was my growing up. I really had a tough growing up time. But I really will say that my life changed when I realized I could surf. And hopping down the beach into the water, once I was in the water, I was like everybody else.
Wow.
And this really gave me a sense like I can be like everybody else. The difficult thing was hopping down the beach. And why? Because every time I would hop down the beach, I would be literally in a position where everybody was staring at me because I was hopping down the beach without a leg.
Can't imagine.
And this really caused me to really feel bad because I was a sophomore in high school. It was the beginning of high school, and I didn't like people staring at me. But I had to decide whether I was going to do what I love to do, or was I going to let what other people think or do control what I did. And maybe this is the philosophy of my life that I realized because I wasn't the best high school student, but I surfed almost every day. And therefore, what I'm saying to you is sometimes you just got to decide to maybe go against the grain a bit, to do what you need to do, to be really successful. And I really decided at high school level that I would really be successful. And I started studying success very heavily. I took all of the Psi seminar classes, and then I met my mentor. They say when you are really ready, your teacher will appear. And for me, that was Joseph Green. He was tutored and mentored by Napoleon Hill directly. He was very wise. He was 88 years old when I met him. And so therefore he was very old and wise and had studied success. And so when I met him, I had 2 years of direct mentorship in Mastermind with Joseph Green. And this has led me to a lot of the philosophy that I now teach. And it has made me millions of dollars in income. I have a beautiful home. I have the things. I've been married for 31 years. But more than that, I'm able to give it away and teach it. And why I say this is because I think you can measure things, like my mentor would say, by results. And it's not enough to just say, I know about success or the philosophy of success, but you can tell if somebody knows it by their results. And it's not just money, although I have made over 30 million. It's having the time freedom. My kids love me and love to spend time with me. Some people are very successful and the kids hate them.
Yes.
I mean, that's not success at all.
That's
And
not
so
life.
there's a lot of things that make up a successful life. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about this, today in this interview.
Okay, and what was it like to be, mentored under Joseph Green?
Wow, I will tell you that that I have had the greatest education because of that. And it was, yes, discipline. It was a way to discipline my mind. But the way, I think, is important. I think everybody understands they need to discipline themselves and discipline their mind if they're going to have big success. But how? How do you discipline yourself? What do you need to do? Exactly, tell me. Like, it's almost like learning to swim. You know, if you tried to give somebody a book on success, like a book on swimming, and teach them how to swim with a book, by the time they read the whole book, theoretically, they could learn, what to do to swim, like how to paddle or how to kick or how to breathe. But then you throw them in a lake, they'll probably drown to the bottom. While they're reading page 23, read like this, they'll be going to the bottom. What you need is a mentor, someone that will hold you in the water, somebody that will teach you to kick like this, to breathe like this, and then to let you go slowly to the wall, maybe just 3 feet away, and then 5 feet, and then 30 feet, and then swimming laps in the pool. And that's what I had, and it was such a great lesson. So if you could imagine, we were meeting in mastermind with a group of 6. My mentor was teaching us, and then we would practice. We would practice the entire week, the lesson that we learned. And that is such an important part of what I'm going to share, is because all of this is wonderful ideas until you practice it every day. Then they become disciplines, and the disciplines become success. And that's how it is built.
Wow. Okay, so Alan, you talked about being disciplined and, learning to be disciplined. What are your daily habits?
Well, I think the greatest discipline is that if you're going to be really successful, you need to actually focus. Josephine taught us a very practical idea of being single-minded, having only one focus at a time, and this is not that easy, to line up all of your goals in one line. And this means that you don't want to have competing goals. You want one goal to drive the next. So if it is success monetarily, financially, then you want your family goal to actually help you drive you forward in that goal. And so you set up many goals along the way that will help one goal drive the next. But you don't want to be doing your goal financially and then missing your family, so that now you are fighting. Oh, when you're on family time, I should be working. When I'm working, I should be with my family. That's the worst thing you can do. So just know that every day that you're working, you're actually working on your family goal of having freedom and doing the things you want to do, and pushing each one exactly in a straight line. And by lining up all of your targets, your goals, when you're working out, you're actually giving your mind a little break, so that the workout becomes a time when you're working on your success as well. And all of it is related to each other, so it's all in one direct line, like this. And that is, I think, one of the keys to the disciplines. But I think there's a couple other things that cause discipline. One is to realize that you will not actually want your goals that you say you want when you're really feeling good about yourself. Well, first, to set your goal when you're feeling really good about yourself. But then once you set your big, giant goals, that you probably won't want it every day of your life. 80% of your life will be spent not wanting the goals that you said you wanted.
Right.
And so what do you have to do? Don't go searching for goals every day. No. If you don't feel like you know what you want, just remember what you said you wanted. And then go after what you said you wanted. So how do you do this? Write down a definite purpose in life statement. Write it, commit it to paper is what my mentor said. And it's very specific things in this document that you're going to write. So I'm just going to cover this since we're right on the subject. There are 6 things that your statement should include. An exact date, and I recommend at least 1 year.
Okay.
It takes time to launch your subconscious mind. So the goals are not short-term goals that you're using this technique for. This is long-term, at least 1 year goals. Number two, the date. Number two, you should write down the exact amount of money you want to make. It is very important that it's measurable. Number three, what do you need to do to have this goal occur? And so this is the work. It's not enough to just dream. It's important to get some feet to your dreams. The steps, the working steps that will cause you to have that success. And then how you need to be. It's not enough to just have the working steps. Maybe you got to be more confident, stronger. Maybe you have to be more powerful. You might have to be more patient. You might need a little more action. Those actions, those patience, maybe more worthy and deserving. You have to find your blind spots and fill in those blind spots with actual practice in the thing that you're weakest at. So whatever you're strong at, just assume the thing that you're weak at is the opposite of it and work on those things. And then what is going to happen to visualize your success when you are successful? So let's say your goal is to earn $10,000 a month. What will happen in your life, in your personal life? What will you give yourself when you are doing that? Maybe it's a beautiful new car at home, whatever it is. Write those things out. Write down some things for your family. So number two, family, and number three, for the world. Just know you're probably not going to do it all just for yourself. Do something for the world. And number six, thank you God for it is done. Just know that you're not alone. You're going to have help. And this help is really one of the critical elements. Thank you God for it is done. So this statement is stated out to yourself out loud at least twice a day. I recommend 5 times a day, just continuously stating this. And in the book Think and Grow Rich, in the book of faith, there is a thing called the self-confidence formula. State that out loud twice a day and do what is stated. I want to repeat that. Do the statement. Don't just say the statement. So it says spend 30 minutes daily thinking of the person you intend to become. Do that part. Spend 30 minutes thinking of the thing you want to become. Spend 10 minutes daily, do something you fear. It says spend 10 minutes daily building your self-confidence. It means do something you fear. So by achieving these things, you start to build a discipline. It becomes a discipline that becomes habit. And my mentor always said, he called habit like a force. He called it habit force. So we're developing wealth habit forces, and disciplines of the mind, mental habits. And so these specific habits become a force that you can use to drive your day. Part of this ends up to be a type of meditation. So we actually see and visualize a perfect picture of our day. And at the end of the day, very important, give yourself credit for all of the good things you did accomplish and do not review the things you didn't do. It's about just seeing the perfect picture all the time, and that is what you did accomplish, not what you didn't do. Give yourself credit. Tap yourself on the shoulder and say, good job for all of the great things you did during the day. So these are habits that you start realizing and start to actualize by doing. There is no way to build the habit without doing it. So you have to start. So I'm going to give you one of the keys. I know it's on your questions, but I'm going to give you a very big key. The key to success is nothing more, as my mentor said, than having one successful day. You want to have a successful life? The key, one successful day. So once you can have one successful day, The beauty of this is you can control one day. It's possible. It's possible to do one day.
Sure.
Now, do one more day, and one more day, and one more day, and you will literally lead yourself to a very successful life. So I want to just state it another way. Imagine your day, a perfect day. You wake up, you do your meditation, you do your exercise, maybe exercise 20, 30 minutes, not a long exercise, but just some workout. And then you do some meditation, 20, 30 minutes. And then you review your goals. Maybe your goals of 5 years from now, what I'm gonna achieve. Maybe a life goal, what will be my life looking like? So a goal for your life, a goal for 5 years. What am I gonna work towards today in working towards a goal for this year, this month, this week, and today?
Okay.
So write this out, literally every day. Spend 20 minutes going through and reviewing these things. And then you will start your work. But you will feel good because you have seen the perfect picture of your day. And so then spend the first half of your day doing some of the work. I call it swallowing your frog. It means, there's a book, Swallow Your Frog. It means doing the hardest things. The things that you know if you did would change your business, your world. Do those things first. And so swallow your frog. Take 20 minutes, take 2 hours to swallow your frog. Do the hard things. And now everything else becomes a lot easier. It's the things you start liking to do. And then go through your day. To the end of your day, you want to accomplish specific tasks. I break my days into 2-hour segments. So I'm doing different tasks. Do not do the same task all day long. It's boring, it's hard, and you tend to not do it. So swallow your frog is 2 hours. Now, go out, maybe have lunch. Take some people with you to lunch and talk about your dream. Maybe take the afternoon to do different activities, walking and talking to people, doing other kinds of work, maybe some technical work or some brainless work, so you can give your mind a little mental break. Take the evening to, really maybe run a meeting or do something very important. And then take the later part of the evening talking to your mastermind, your group of people that really will affect your business. And then spend the last part of your night in meditation, looking at an entire snapshot of your day, giving yourself credit. I tend to work on the internet the end of my day. It's a distraction. So I try to do that at the end of the night, some of the last things, and then I just go and do a meditation. Usually at night, I try to do about a half an hour before I sleep to get in a really relaxed state. I used a rock and a bucket. Okay. And this is how I do it. I put a rock in my hand, a big steel bucket, and I just hold the rock. I'm tired and sometimes I will fall asleep. And the rock will drop in the bucket with a bang. And it'll wake me up and I'll grab the rock and get back in that position. And this rock and bucket technique I learned as a technique from Thomas Edison. And it gets you in a state where just before sleeping is true meditation. Just the second before sleeping. So you can stay in that moment, just that little thin strip of moment just before sleeping and stay there. To realize this, the rock will help you get there. And so this is one of the secrets to meditation.
Okay, so when you meditate, do you just focus on breathing or do you actually visualize?
Yeah, so initially I think there's stages of meditation. The most basic is just relaxation. So if you can just get to relaxation, you will gain more energy. It's a great way to start. But I think you can get more stronger And stronger meditations are where I will visualize the not perfect end result. I call it the dark screen with dark lights around my motion picture, which is played on a flat screen TV, a big, beautiful, perfect 3D flat screen TV, and having the dark lights around the edge. The dark is sequenced with dark and white, dark and white, dark and white. You can turn one set of lights on, which is the dark, which is the picture you don't want, and then flip the switch and turn on the white, which is like Las Vegas, with the lights rolling around in circles. And with that is the perfect picture that you want. So maybe it's your financial condition. Maybe you can play a video. Maybe bill collectors calling you, or just your checkbook and you see zeros or negative numbers. And that's the picture you don't want. And then flip the switch and then see maybe cashing a paycheck and stuffing your pockets all full of money, and just, really seeing the abundant life that you want and the people you're going to help with the money. And so now this is played backwards with dark screen and then light screen, and then visualize in full brilliant motion picture the perfect end result. So this is done as a regular activity, a regular discipline. It will be done to the point that you get it where your mind will shift and launch. You will know when you launch your subconscious mind, because you will see that perfect picture like 24 hours a day. That's how you know you've launched it. Now, I think the critical point is not when it's launched, it's before you launch it. That's the discipline part. Because once you get the discipline, you will actually launch it, and then it will be automatic, and you will not even have to worry. If you just add a little fuel to it, a little discipline, you'll get 100 times the result. So the beginning looks like 99% perspiration, trying to do this work, and 1%, inspiration. But there's a point where it'll become 99% inspiration and 1% perspiration. And you gotta go through that phase when it launches, when it gets to the other side.
Okay. Thank you. Now, Alan, you've created so much success already. You made over $30 million launching, marketing the yo-yo around the world. And now you're working on Nu Skin with Nu Skin. Why?
Well, I think, first, Nu Skin fulfills one of the greatest, pleasures. So I'll just back up a little bit. So starting Nu Skin, you first work on success. So again, it's working on the disciplines, and you have to do the disciplines, which is not easy. And as you build your Nu Skin business, it will become more and more residual, and it will give you more and more freedoms. I think the difficult thing is to visualize your success before you succeed. So you have to see the perfect end result, and that may be a 1, 2, or 3, maybe even 4-year process. So you're kind of working for success. And this is maybe the hard part, to talk to people and you don't have the success yourself. To believe that you're going to be there, even though when you look at your daily activity, you go, it doesn't look anything like what I'm saying to people. And it feels like a lie. And there is a difficulty in that, but you have to believe by not seeing. And this is, I think, one of the keys to success, actually, as a whole. And I'll just say it this way, that during that time, you're building a skill. And so what you need to do is actually not see what is. And some people will call this a lie. But this is a technique. You have to not see what is, because if you constantly only concentrate on what is, and you focus on what is, guess what? You get more of what is. And what is becomes what is, becomes what is, and it reinforces itself until you only see what is, and therefore you only get what you had, not what you want. How do you get what you want? You blind yourself. You literally blind yourself of what is. Enough blindness of what is so you can see what you want. And if you see what you want clearer than what you see what is. So you have to blur the picture a little, scratch the record so you're not in the same groove, so that you can see something that isn't. And when you can start seeing what isn't more clearly than what is, you get what isn't. And what is disappears. And so you get what isn't, and what is disappears. And this is the key to this process of thinking and learning. So, you know, this is a really tough and yet very rewarding process, because once you learn it, you can teach it. And when you can teach it, you can create freedom for thousands of people. And this is the message really that we're sharing with the world, that you can have your dreams, you can have what you want, and we have an exact sequence of things you need to do to start getting it. And you have to believe without seeing. And so that's what we say, visualize your success before you succeed. Start to go after that process. I think that once you have success, then you work on significance. And this is the next part of life. The next part is about significance. To do something great for the world and help a lot of people. It's the most beautiful part of the life, as you start realizing that this will give you a lot of pleasure. And so that's what we're really after.
So, you know, you're working very hard right now, I know, building the new skin business, but really I know it's not about making money. Why are you doing this? Why are you working so hard? Maybe tell us a little bit about what is your purpose in life?
Well, I mean, my greatest purpose in life right now, of course, one is to help my son, to have him learn the secrets of success.
Right.
And I'm enjoying that immensely, because it is a big challenge, but it's a huge opportunity to really affect the most important person that I can think of to affect.
Okay.
And but I think the next thing is really in doing something great for the world, and he and I are in alignment to doing this, is to change the world. So I'm working on a project with Nourish the Children right now. I met Nourish the Children at a big event with New Skin, where Lee Iacocca was speaking. He's one of my heroes. He is the former chairman of the board for Chrysler Corporation, saved hundreds of thousands of jobs in Chrysler, and really was a business icon I studied. When he came out in a New Skin meeting in the front stage of a big event, I couldn't understand what this guy was doing there, realizing later that he was the president of Nourish the Children. So I was very interested in what he had to say. But he said something that night that shook every bone in my body. And that was that if every person, distributor of New Skin, would find 3 people, and those 3 people find 3 people in 2 generations to donate bags of Vitamil every day, every month, that it was in 2 generations of 3 finding 3, we would end world hunger forever.
Wow.
And suddenly, New Skin rang in my bones. In other words, the real purpose of my New Skin business became to do something for Nourish the Children. And I thought that I could have an impact in the world in a small way or medium way or big way was just the most delicious thought that I could think of. And I started. And we built an enormous organization, and our organization right now is changing the world. We have a system where we are doing something for Nourish the Children every month. And this day that we do, our giving day, we work to help to create donations for Nourish the Children. Well, my goal is to get this idea in our team to produce 600,000 meals a day. we are increasing this year. The last 6 months, we have increased by 30,000 meals a day. So we went from 150,000 meals to 180,000 meals a day globally with Nu Skin. But my goal is to get us to 200,000 meals this year, and then 600,000 meals by next year.
Wow.
But once we hit 600,000 meals, my goal is to travel around the world teaching this to many organizations, team elites around the world, and we will literally end world hunger. And I believe it is possible. And this is my dream, and it is the most, again, the most delicious thought. It's the thing when you are having a dream, it's so delicious. You want to taste it. It is just the most beautiful thoughts.
Your dream.
Well, when you can actually experience your dreams, it is the most beautiful tasting thoughts. And you feel so good. You feel like, I mean, imagine the most beautiful, I don't know what you consider delicious. I mean, sexually, or, you know, if you love to eat, the most delicious thing you can imagine tasting. And when you can experience that on a daily basis, of course you want more. And that's what life becomes. This beautiful life of living your dreams daily and experiencing it, because you do not let the sun set without taking a step towards that dream. And I'm doing that daily now. So of course I'm living a very beautiful life, and it's very attractive. People look at me and go, "You are so happy." I don't understand why you could be so happy, because it's much more than, yes, making millions of dollars a year and, you know, getting nice things. No, it's way more than that. And now I'm traveling. I just completed a trip to Korea, which I don't have any members there, but I worked with a team, and they are on fire to do things for Nourish the Children. And of course, I'm tasting my dream coming to me. And so that's the whole key of this.
Okay. So now you're obviously living your dreams. So how, if you were to coach someone to live their dreams, what would you say to them?
Well, I mean, I have direct experience with this. I'm coaching my son every day. Okay. And you know, my son at 19 is asking me every day, how do I learn discipline? How can I be more disciplined? Because in the end, it is a mental discipline. It's a physical discipline. There's several avenues. So there's a mental discipline. Saying your statement, doing your self-confidence formula, those are very important. That's the mental aspect of your disciplines. But you have some physical disciplines. You know, waking up early, getting your meditations, doing all of the things. So those are your physical disciplines that you're putting in place that will lead to your success. Your actual work, your activities. You know, in Nu Skin it will be 3 3s. So these are the 3 new contacts a day, 3 three-way presentations a day, and 3 new 80 hours a week. Those are your mental disciplines, or your physical disciplines. But you also have another discipline that you need to organize. And, I'm teaching my son these things as well. So, I mean, he is complete pretty much on his mental disciplines. Now he's working on his physical, getting up and doing those things.
For a 19-year-old.
19 is tough, you know? And he's still growing. He's getting taller. He got like an inch taller, so he needs more sleep. And we're recognizing these things and trying to accommodate these things. But then there's these other disciplines, and I'm going to talk about something that builds value inside of you. I think this is one of the greatest disciplines that my mentor taught me. So, number one, to take 10% of your wealth that you have earned every month and put it into a savings account. Take the equivalent amount and give it away to a really worthy charity And it should be something you can measure, and it should be something that actually compounds itself. And maybe we can take other lessons later on to describe that, but that is it is a discipline, a financial discipline. So therefore, this money, this 10% that you put, maybe first becomes savings and then becomes investment. And you do not spend this money. So people ask me all the time, if I never spend it, how do I enjoy this money? And the truth is, it is just there, and it just keeps on getting bigger, and it just is there to build your confidence or value. It's very hard to say I don't have value when you have $50,000 in the bank, or $100,000, or eventually 300 or a million or 5 million. It's really difficult to say I don't have value, and it's hard to stress out about money when you have 300,000 in the bank available to you. So this is part of what happens. It builds a long-term valuation that increases. The funny thing is, since you'll never spend it, what is it really worth? A mental aspect to your process. Giving away the money also builds. So as your income increases, you're giving away more. And that means that your success is the global success. I don't know how else to describe this, but let me put it to you this way. If you are giving away 10% of your wealth, you're signaling your body that there's more than enough. And I'm saying it physically. It's not you're saying it. You're physically representing to your body that there is more than enough. Because if there wasn't enough, how could you give some away? And it's shocking what happens when this enters your body spirit, because you will literally always have more than enough. And it's shocking when you stop doing it that you don't have enough all of a sudden, and you're always short. And so I have learned the lesson both directions. So I'm just recommending very highly that you take on this process. My son is keeping a money clip on him all the time. It has 3 $100 bills on it. And this is something you keep on you all the time. Yeah. And you spend the $20 bills, the smaller denominations of 50s, but you don't spend the hundreds. So again, it's money that you'll never use, but it is an amazing way to build your wealth consciousness. I mean, there's other things about how to take care of your car and how to make it look like the beautiful dream car, how to take care of your home and make it look like the beautiful, clean, neat, tidy, beautiful dream, your closet. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do this. But my mentor went through and gave us these disciplines that I have taught other people. And it's shocking to see how important this is to build your value. So your value can be built this way, and also to love yourself every day, to give yourself credit for what you do, to be beautiful, to give yourself valuable things every now and then, buy yourself a gift. These are all ways to build your internal value. So what I'm saying is you have disciplines of your mind, physical disciplines that will help you to be successful. And then this discipline of actually ever increasing wealth, a consciousness of wealth. And I think in using these entirely, and then looking at what your weakness is and actually focusing, so you swallow your frog first, do the hard thing first. Might be physical disciplines for my son, might be mental disciplines for others. A military guy probably has great physical discipline, but may not have the same mental disciplines, or may not believe in his own value. And so looking at which one is the weakest and working on those things is one of the keys. I think the beauty of my mentor is he taught us all of it. And we didn't focus on any one. We actually said we need to accomplish these disciplines.
Wow, incredible. Thank you very much, Alan, for sharing your secret to success with us and your philosophy of success. Thank you very much.
Aloha.
Aloha.